So you guys love to roast me on which fatalities I think are good in Mortal Kombat games. So I decided, let's have some fun. Let me put the ball in your court. So what I did, I put a Google form with every single fatality in Mortal Kombat 1 on it and let you guys vote for up to 10. Now, most of you only voted for 1 or 2 or 3. That's okay, that's fine, but you could vote for up to 10 on here. And it's been 2 weeks. We have 410 responses. That's 410 people that responded, not necessarily individual votes, but 410 people responded to this poll. So the results are very interesting. The results may shock you because, shocker, the top 10 is actually very, very, very similar to mine. So at number 10, we have Quan Chi's Final Offering, which honestly, I could see why it's highly rated. It's a fun one. It gives a unique shot. It gives you a very cool visual for every character. And also, it's just pure badass necromancy to have this dude give you his own head. I understand why you voted that high. I agree. It's a good one. The Quan Chi one also had 136 votes, by the way. Not a small number by any means. So next up is Shang Tsung's Feeding Time, which has 145 votes. I love this fatality as well because it is so quintessential Shang Tsung. He does an experiment to you. And the dragon, snake, whatever you want to call it, pops out and eats your brain. And the little detail of it eating the brain at the end is actually such a nice touch. I like it a lot. Once again, still in full agreement here. Number 8 is the only one I disagree with. Cyrax Annihilation. You guys already know, this is my favorite fatality of all time. Probably because back in Mortal Kombat Trilogy, it was the first one I ever did when playing against my cousin one time. It's like a core memory to remember doing this fatality. But if anybody ever wondered why I love that one so much, it's nostalgia. And this game's version of it is the best it's ever been. I love it so much. But still, 8th place is respectable with 194 votes. It is a substantial amount. Next up, number 7, the best Scorpion fatality of all time, in my opinion. Scorpion's killer clones from the Netherrealm with 196 votes, just barely beating out Cyrax Annihilation. What more is there to say? They take the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 fatality and essentially show you what happens, and that is awesome. He brings out the clones, he brings out the Shirai Ryu, he brings out the boys, and they just destroy this dude. I love it. It's great. What's more to say about it? It's a great one. Also, very good end pose, too. To me, the end pose is one of the most important parts of a good fatality. You can have the best fatality in the world, and if it has a bad end pose, it loses so many points for me personally. Next up is Johnny Cage's Crash and Burn, which is pretty high, honestly. I would not put it above anything else in this top 10 personally. However, I do still like it a lot. Mainly because, yeah, you get the unique asset, you get the toasty, you get the car, it's good. I understand. It's great, and it's very Johnny Cage. I can see why it's so high. That one has 200 votes. While I personally put it a little bit lower than the other ones that we talked about so far, I understand why it's here. I like it as well. It's a good one. Next up at number 5 with 206 votes, we have Homelander's Winging It fatality. His fatality number 1. Honestly, I agree. This fatality is awesome. I'm glad it's not higher because I like to see actual Mortal Kombat characters get the top spot in this type of thing. But this is actually a very good fatality. So I remember a lot of us from the trailer thought he was going to just drop him into the wing and that was it. But no. He destroys the whole damn plane. We get the unique asset. We get the unique area. We get the show reference. It is a banger. Perfect Homelander fatality. Honestly, it's exactly what I would have done if I were to give Homelander a fatality. It's amazing. At number 4, another best fatality this character has ever had. The Baraka 4-piece combo with 232 votes. It's basically Baraka feeding the boys. Honestly, I agree putting this above the Scorpion one in hindsight. Just because, yeah, he basically strings you up. He basically strings you up on like a campfire and cooks you. And then all his boys come in and they all take a bite. It's so good. It's perfect. Honestly, it is the best Baraka has ever had. And I'm so used to Baraka having like mid or kind of generic fatalities because he's a dude with swords on his arms. I think he's just going to slice you up and stuff. But this one was creative and fun to watch. And it's one, if I'm fighting Baraka and they do this fatality, I'm not even mad, dude. I love this one. At number 3, we have Omni-Man's Trained Killer fatality. Honestly, this was the IGN winner. If you guys saw the IGN video, that did get demonetized, so you may not have seen that. But I almost would put this higher. It's such a good fatality. First he grabs you, the train just crashes into you, and hundreds of people are dying on this train because of you. And then afterwards, the shot after is so damn good because the bottom half just falls to the ground like it's had enough. And of course the train, I believe, explodes behind you. Yeah, dude, like the look, the camera work, the first, like when you first see the train coming, your character's face is just like, oh shit. This isn't very good for me. It's a good one. And honestly, once again, the final shot's great. And the train crashes at the end. It is such a good fatality. I can see why it's so highly rated. Number 2 is actually a bit surprising. And that is Liu Kang's Spaghettification. Once again, this is a fatality that I love. I think it's probably the best quote-unquote Superman fatality in the game. Just because he pulls you out of space and holds you near a black hole. And you just get to see what happened to Mr. Fantastic and Doctor Strange 2. Like, it's kind of nuts. And honestly, yes, Liu Kang is a god now. He can fly, he can do all this shit. Why not let him just throw you into a black hole? They took a very simple concept and made it absolutely awesome. Once again, it's one of those ones that if it's done to me, I'm not even mad. I'm here to watch it. I love it a lot. The winner by a landslide is, of course, Garrus's Temporal Execution with a whopping 293 votes. So this has unanimously won every list I've made for this game. So I've only done 2, but in both of them, this was the #1 fatality for good reason. It is the most creative fatality I've seen in a long time from NRS. It's literally take the concept of a time loop and it's your own death. So think about it this way. Basically, Garrus from the future grabs your head, gives it to Garrus from the past to beat the shit out of you, and then another Garrus grabs you to basically repeat it infinitely. Like, the implication alone is absolutely insane and worth just the creativity, just the use of his power, the gruesomeness, the, oh, that is messed up situation that this causes. It deserves #1. 100% it deserves #1. It is really good, and honestly, I agree with you completely. We're on the same page here, boys. Our lists aren't too different. However, there are some interesting things to note about this poll. Because remember, this was a big poll. There was quite a few fatalities on here. So, not a single fatality had 0 votes, which I'm shocked by. I thought for sure something was going to have 0. But there are a bunch that only had 1. So, the worst fatalities in the game, the ones that only had 1 vote, are Darius, Goro, Kung Lao, Sonya, and Janet Cage. And the reason they all have 1 vote, bro, they're the cameo fatalities. I mean, yeah, a lot of them are classics, right? But also, they're not that good. Like, Frost only had 3. Kano only had 4. Like they're not great, and it's not because they're classics, because they just don't have the same level of effort put into them as a lot of the main fatalities. Cyrax's arguably is the only really objectively good cameo fatality, aside from, of course, maybe Jax's as well. I like Jax's as well. But yeah, man, it's just these cameo fatals are, I don't want to say they're lazy, but they don't have the same oomph that the main ones do, so that's not surprising at all. There are some other interesting tidbits in this list, though. For example, can you guess who had the absolute lowest number of votes across both their fatalities? It's almost General Shao. General Shao only had 15 votes across both his fatalities. That is an insanely low number for one of the most popular characters in the game. But no, Shao was not the lowest. It was actually Tanya. Tanya had a whopping 9 votes between both of her fatalities, the lowest of any character by far, and that is insane. And I get why, too, because both of her fatalities are almost the exact same thing, and they're both mids, so I totally get it. Another interesting little bit of information here is that Reiko's fatality 2 would have been our 11th place with 124 votes, but his other one also had a decent showing, so Reiko combined was better than most characters. However, that's not the list we were doing here. The list was basically which fatality individually was best, and that's kind of how it ended up. But yeah, guys, that's basically all I've got. We might do this again for Animalities next month. So if you guys do want to see that, do me a solid subscribe. And this time, you can roast your own list because you voted on this. This one's your fault. But if I'm being honest, I'm in pretty much complete agreement with this. There's really no major outlier or nothing too shocking. The ones I thought were going to win, or the ones that were pretty high on my list, were pretty damn high here. Cyrax's being number 8 is kind of rough, but that's okay. Not everyone has that nostalgia for it that I did. But this was fun. This was a fun video to do. So if you guys want me to get a little more community engagement, maybe start a Discord or something, let me know in the comments below, because I would love to do a little bit more stuff like this. It's fun to get you guys involved, right? Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Subscribe for more content, and of course, I will see you in the next one. Until then, everybody.